Okay, and check 1 2. Perfect. We have audio. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. I am TNR Blade, once again joined by Felix in the booth. We are here, round 6 of the Scorpio Super Formula Championship here at the Circuit Barcelona de Catalunya. We are just past halfway through qualifying, as it is once again an AMS 1-2 leading the field. Felix, exciting race ahead of us today. 62 laps, I believe.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. It will be an interesting race. It will be very challenging for the drivers to manage their tires and the fuel as well. There will be both tire management and the fuel management. We have a couple of new rules for this race. But yeah, all in all, a good lineup again of the drivers. I'm just with Nico Arigada, who is setting purple sector. After a couple of snaps in the last lap, which set him about second off pace from the leaders, MS Super S2K and Chang, which are both very close. Anyhow, a very, very interesting evening. We'll see how this will play out.
Absolutely. We'll start our broadcast off giving you a quick championship points update. First one of the season, I believe. First official one that we'll give of the season. Now that we are 5 rounds in, with drop rounds becoming implemented and now starting to give us a clearer picture as to who sits where in the standings, the top 3 in the standings, once again, our main 3 protagonists, Nico, Super S2K, and Drift King, all separated by 6 points. And the top 2 of Nico and Super S2K, only 1 point between them as we come into today's round. So everything to play for here as we get prepared for what should be an absolute thriller, it must be said. Extremely high speeds, extremely long, a very long time on the power for these drivers as they come out of turn 12 and should, in theory, be flat out all the way down into turn 1. So we're expecting some very easy overtakes with the slipstream today.
Yeah, as well to add, we have a couple of new rules. So first one is that if the drivers have any damage on the rear wing or any of the suspensions, they need to wait 30 seconds for each part in the pit lane before they can continue. So if they crash and they have a rear wing damage and a suspension, it's a 1 minute of waiting time just to simulate those repairs in the pit stop. That's one thing. And the other thing to add is that Philo has a 3 places grid penalty since the last race, so he will be demoted for 3 positions after the qualifying. Phil is currently holding P8, 1.5 second off pace. Can he improve?
Yeah, it's certainly going to be very interesting now with those damage rules in place. A change that was made to kind of make this series a little more realistic, so that way these drivers can't just immediately jump back into the pits, deal with the much shorter amount of time that in game that it takes to make the repairs and get back out immediately on track. So much more errors will be much more costly, and you would imagine these drivers would have to be even more careful, especially on the opening lap, as we've seen quite a bit of carbon fiber spread about across the track, especially on the opening lap. As we ride on board with Arigada currently on his making another qualifying attempt. Current lap has been invalidated, running wide, and so this lap time will not count toward any improvement. Lester currently setting up in the 3rd position, a great spot for him. Oh dear, I don't think. Is the keyboard working? Yes, it is. Okay. Had me worried for a moment.
And we're in the final
time
lap.
has expired, yes. Time has expired. These will be drivers' final laps. AMS Super 2K picks up a penalty, so this lap won't count for him. He will be locked in at a 1:17.2 fastest lap of the session. Chung, who is currently in the pits, will not improve. Arigata does make it back up into P3, will start from that spot. Lester currently out on a lap. He's made it just in time, so he should be able to complete the rest of this lap, as we'll ride on board with him. Next best chance at getting potentially onto the podium here. Big change for him, as he has now become another one of the Scorpio eSports drivers. A big signing for him, especially in the Gran Turismo community. Scorpio making headways, it must be said.
He's improving for the time being. Let's see, can he connect this final sector?
Flat out through the final couple corners, minimizing the amount of time lost, keeping the wheel as straight as possible.
He does.
Jumps it up to P3, 0.06 of a second faster than Nico. Will start on that, was always going to start on that second row of the grid, but does manage to pip that final spot on the podium in qualifying. So we will give you a quick rundown of the results for our session here. Once again, AMS Super S2K 1:17.2, fastest lap of the session by 2.5 tenths over his teammate AMS Drift King, bringing it in at a 1:17.4. Very solid laps for both the AMS drivers. Hopefully they can keep their noses clean and bring home another solid 1-2 finish. Scorpio, Lester, with another fantastic result for him. He'll be looking to make headway in the championship, as I believe he is currently set fourth in the standings anyway. Yes, he is. So he'll be looking to try to catch up to the top three, as the qualifying grid is currently being reordered as per the grid penalties that was accumulated to Philo, who will start P11 after his penalties. So once again, it is AMS Super S2K, followed by Chung, Lester, Arigata, and Sanchez, your top five. I think we're going to have to wait for the grid to officially be sorted before we run you any further. 63 laps, my apologies, I've just seen.
So what now needs to happen, the drivers need to tick in again for the race, enter the track, essentially. And then, only then, the owner of the lobby can set them up in the correct grid order. So currently we're waiting for Scorpio Ivan to enter, and that's it.
Alright. As I apologize, I'm currently being flooded with information at the moment. So we will get the grid sorted, and we will run through the grid at that point in time. Interesting note I've just realized. We have a very decent tailwind coming down into turn one. So perhaps that'll make the overtakes a little bit more difficult instead.
Correct.
It
can change. It does change. If you remember, where was it where we had a complete change of the wind?
I believe it might have been... it definitely happened a little bit last round where it shifted slightly. It wasn't a complete 180, but it would have been... Could it have been round 2, maybe, at Suzuka? I don't exactly remember when, but yes, we did have a complete 180 shift in the wind direction, which really ignited the race for some of the drivers. Others running wide as that wind shift caught them out. So let's see what happens with that. But for now, despite the fact that we have possibly one of the longest flat-out stretches on the calendar here, and certainly one of the longest rundowns to turn one that these drivers will deal with over the course of the season, overtaking lap 2 onwards might become a little more difficult with that tailwind, but if that turns around again, expect to see some impressive dives down into turn 1. On the contrary, this should also make overtakes into the turn 10 hairpin a bit easier. So don't go anywhere, folks, as we remain in hold for the time being, just as we get the grid set. And we will be ready to go momentarily. So, as you might have seen over on the chat, over on the right-hand side or left-hand side of your screen, obviously rule changes coming into effect. Heavy damage now being run for these drivers, which they will need to be much more careful about. As always, no overtake to be used going into turn 1, as we will be ready to get this race underway for round 6 here for the Scorpio Super Formula Championship. As the lights come on and we get ready to get underway, and it's lights out, and it's a decent initial getaway for both the AMS drivers. Arigata with a slightly slower start as Lester, excuse me, that's going to catch me out all day. Lester now handsomely up into P3, looking to establish himself behind the AMS drivers, and does so. Sanchez now also getting around Arigata, who had a very poor start. Arigata also under fire from, I believe that is Sanchez that just got around him. That was for the 5th place position. Pebe now up to 6th. Roach 7th. Gramenos around the corner in P8 as all these drivers make their way through. Clean so far on the opening lap as we have one car go wide. That was Gramenos, who got into the grass. He'll need to be careful to keep his nose clean and as he tries to clean off those tires. Little bit of contact with Roach as they come out of the turn 8 complex. Now through the flat-out turn 9, and they will make their way down into the hairpin. Gramenos on the grass again, nearly 3 wide with Pebe and Arigata.
Yeah,
everyone managing to keep it clean for now. Arigata on that outside line.
Pebe overtaking Nico.
Pebe up and through into that 5th place position, excuse me. Everyone dipping a wheel into the gravel on the exit, but this could leave Peme vulnerable to the slipstream attack from Nico. No, he has been able to run away on that opening lap. Lester a little bit wide through turn 1. That might drop him back into the clutches of Peme, as it is a 3-car runaway at the front. AMS Super S2K leading his teammate Drift King in 2nd. Sanchez climbs his way into the 3rd place position. All of them now 2 seconds ahead of Lester, who now leads the train ahead in P4.
Philo was last after midway through the first lap. Currently P10, he managed to overtake Supa and Grove Street. Scorpio even as well. There was a contact into turn 3, just on the entrance of turn 3 of the first lap.
Philo picks up a penalty, ran wide in turn 8. Sorry to cut you off there.
Yeah, and that was the reason that Philo actually ended up in the last place. Currently P9 for Scorpio, even P10 for Philo with a penalty.
Yeah, so he will have to serve that next time around down the back straightaway, which will leave him vulnerable to attack into the hairpin, but he does have a 1-second lead over Supa. Oh, but he runs very wide into the gravel, manages to recover. I would imagine he'll probably pick up even more penalty from that, as now Supa is going to close right up to the back of him, heading down into turn 1, thinks better of it. He knows he's got that penalty and will be able to make headway down the back straightaway into turn 10.
Bebe on mediums attacking Scorpio Lester, who is on hards.
Interesting.
Just 3/10 separating them. Mandatory tires are mediums and soft, so Scorpio Lester will definitely use all 3 compounds today.
Yeah, 2-stop required for him today, starting on the hard compound tires. Both Sanchez, Chung, and Super S2K all running the medium compound tires, and none of them having used any overtake just yet. Lester has used a little bit, as has Payme. Already got it,
well
closing in on 6th. Nick, yes, that is a good point. Also running the hard compound tire, so he'll be looking to run long. Also hasn't used any overtake yet, as he will ride in behind Payme, looking to get around Lester here with the tire advantage for now.
Definitely he'll have tire advantage on the braking, but this puts things into perspective. Why is Arrigada already 8 seconds behind the leaders, as well as Scorpio Lester? We see Payme attacking, he's already in front and getting the job done.
Cleanly through on the brakes, used the overtake button out of the final corner and slipstream to get around. That tailwind going down into turn 1 not really affecting these drivers all that much, it seems. As Payme now fastest first sector with all that slipstream.
We saw Gramenos actually and Roach picking up the penalty last time out of the final corner. They managed to serve the penalty this lap around, but Roach picked up another penalty. He's on the soft tires, definitely not the best
already
pace
only
at the moment.
Only lap 4, and he's pretty much halfway through that left front.
Left front is dead. So 3 laps and he's done. 7 laps, maybe 8 laps on the softs. So I don't know why did he do this. Why did he pick the soft tire? Who got Scorpio Lester? He had a reset. Something happened there. He dropped down to P11.
Very interesting indeed. I apologize. I completely missed that. I just heard the tire squeal. I can only imagine got loose, perhaps, going through the hairpin, ran very wide, might have thought about taking the motorcycle layout, which is what would have resulted in that.
Yeah, Philo just overtook Roach into turn 1.
And has
attacking
done
now
so.
Scorpio even. Yeah.
Yeah, my only thought process with why Roach would have started on the softs would have been just get them out of the way, as everyone will need to run a set of them at some point in this race.
Yeah.
So realistically, you'd want to run them immediately, try to get some early track position, and just hold on to it. Or you save it till right the very end. That's when you jump onto the tire with 5 laps to go. And
what happened
maybe
now
go for fastest lap point.
Correct. What happened now is that he used these tires while he's completely full with
fuel. Yes.
And the tires are deteriorating even faster. So literally last lap it was midway through the bar on the front left. Now it's already dead. And after these 3 corners it will be completely dead. So yeah, bad luck for him. I think medium or hards would be an optimum tire, especially if he's starting here. I don't know where he started exactly, but maybe hards would be a better option. So Nico opted for hards. I personally think that's a great strategy.
Certainly, with the pace that Nico has shown over the course of the season, he'll be hoping to make that work. Currently sitting in the 5th position, about 10 seconds back off the lead. Speaking of which, we will jump up just to give a brief check-in on the leaders. AMS Super 2K, 1.6 second lead over his teammate Ryan, running in the 2nd position, about a second, give or take, over Sanchez. Sanchez will be in the slipstream, and he's been plugging off. He's got the fastest lap for the moment in that number 911 machine, so he'll be looking to keep up with these top 2, and, he could be on for a very good result today. Payme currently running in the 4th spot. Got about 4. He's pretty on his own at the moment, running the mediums. Doesn't quite have the pace of the front 3, but certainly with the tire advantage over Nico right now, which is why he's running away. Gramenos trying to catch up to Nico at the moment. thinking about potentially making a move, getting himself up into the top 5 while he is running on that medium tire. Closes in a little bit, down to 7.5 tenths into turn 1, using a little bit of the overtake on exit, as he'll hope to mitigate the dirty air now coming off of Nico's car with that tire advantage. But he'll need to be careful to not overslip that left front, as we see his tire is already about a quarter of the way worn through.
Yeah. Can you remind me, is Sanchez on a controller or a wheel? He's on a controller, right?
That is a good point. I don't recall which one of our drivers is on the controller. I believe it is Sanchez.
Yeah, he because of that, he used a lot of his front left compared to Chang and Super S2K.
It could
However,
also be
as well.
down to setup, yes.
It could, yeah, correct.
It could be down to setup, it could be down to using the controller versus the wheel.
Peime's flying.
Peime now fastest lap of the race, 1:20.1. So about 3 seconds off of what these drivers were running in qualifying. That, of course, down to fuel load and, of course, running a harder compound tire. I've actually been informed it is Roach, Fillo, and Sanchez all running on the controller today. Which, if Roach is running, as Roach has made a pit stop, is now out on the hards. So I suppose that is why his soft tires only went about 5 laps before he came into the pits. So we'll see what his pace is like now on the hards.
Peime is a second faster than Sanchez in the last lap, and about half a second or 3/4 tenths in the previous lap. So he's definitely on a charge here.
But is he using too much tire too early? Obviously, tire management will be a factor today, as will potentially fuel as well. Though fuel should be much easier for these drivers to manage, as they do have I'm forgetting what it's called, but they have a fuel rate control that they can...
Fuel mixture.
Yes, thank you. That's the terminology I was looking for. They do have a fuel mixture. They do have fuel mixture options to choose from. I would imagine.
Maps.
Yes, engine maps.
Gramenos having a little bit of fun time exiting the last corner. He used as well a lot of his front left, used a bit of overtake. Scorpio used about a quarter of overtake as well, and we have Peime using a little bit of overtake, 1:20.6 in his last lap.
Ivan is now actually up into 6th. Did he get around Philo, or did someone else make a pit? Was that
somebody made a pit stop or a mistake? I see Chang currently struggling in this lap. He made a mistake. Sanchez is all over him. Only 6 tenths separates them.
Actually, I wonder if it was from Lester having his reset. Is why I was thinking of. What's his name? Ivan was running in the 7th position. He is currently running in 6th. A decent result for him, all things considered. So he'll be continuing to try to... Yeah.
Gramenos had 1:26.8 in lap 7. Definitely a mistake.
That's why. As we'll watch Gramenos through this turn 3 corner here. Yeah, a much more normal line this time through. Previous lap, it looked like he held the inside line a lot longer than most others have been, which I can only assume would only hurt his tires even more, as that left front is getting down to the cords. Has not much tread left on that tire. So he'll have to be very careful now, especially through all of these very high-speed left or right-hand corners.
Yeah, we are only at lap 10, just finishing up lap 10. 6 more times this distance for the drivers. Definitely it will be maybe even more than 2 pit stops.
As it looks like we might have a battle for 6th place. Philo has caught up to Ivan, getting on the overtake now as they charge down the front straightaway. Ivan half defends about a lane off of the full outside. He will return to the racing line, holding on to that spot for now. I would imagine both drivers, yes, both drivers using the overtake there down the front straightaway as Ivan looks to defend that 6th place position. Philo using all the track and then some on the entry to turn 4. I don't believe he'll get a penalty for that. He did still have 2 tires on the curb. These drivers very careful to use all the space available to them, all of the available racing surface, AstroTurf and curbs included, getting right up next to the edge of the gravel and the serrated curbs, as Philo trying to close in on his way down into the turn 10 hairpin, dropping a little bit behind Ivan now. Perhaps the tire starting to fall off a little bit. It's about the same, maybe a little worse than what Ivan's currently got going for himself.
Yeah, Sanchez as well feeling the front left already, so Chung managed to run away out of the slipstream zone. Paymay actually closing in on Sanchez. 2.2 seconds. Paymay has a brutal pace, really. This is like all 120s in the last, 5-6 laps. This is really nice to see.
Really, the last 8 laps without the mistake he had on lap 5. Mm-hmm. So very strong, very consistent pace for Paymay. If he can string that together, as long as he doesn't destroy his tires in the process, that 3 machine could see himself into position number 3.
True, and this definitely plays into a Super S2K's favor. Currently 2.7 seconds apart from Chunk.
2.5 now as he rounds the final corner. Chung with a slightly better run through turn 12, and he will be able to continue to close in all the way down this very long main straightaway. Obviously, all these kart drivers flat out through turns 13 and 14. Could we call this an ominous performance by the AMS drivers? Some of the best tire wear we've seen it across the field, and with the pace to back it up, both drivers consistently running in the mid to high 120s. Chung actually running 1 lap in the very low 21s, but very consistent pace. Are they just pacing themselves at the moment? Not really showing their full hand, do we think?
Could be. All the drivers have a similar amount of fuel. Gramenos has the most. Lester has the least amount of fuel. Could be that they're just now setting a pace and just, not pushing too hard. Yeah, this will be really a play. I think Arigara is playing a long game here. He's trying to maximize the tires. But when I compare his hard tires to Super S2K medium tires, Super S2K is doing an incredible job. The difference is already 14 seconds between the two of them. Arigada going a little bit wide. Will that be a penalty? No.
Doesn't look like it.
121s.
To be fair to him, he is very consistent in those mid to low 121s. Though that said, if we take a look between his and Super S2K's, like you said, only slightly better tire wear, despite being on the harder compound tire.
Yeah, Super S2K either found an incredible setup or he's just a tire whisperer.
Certainly these drivers playing to their strengths.
Philo is very close to Scorpio Ivan at the moment.
Take a look
Very
back
close,
to that
yeah.
battle for 6th. He's
Very
closed
close
in,
being
he's
less than a
closed in a
second.
little bit, about 3/10 since the last time we checked in with them.
And a penalty.
Oh, he has picked up a penalty. Well, there goes that chance of a battle. Lester now rounding the final corner on a bit of a recovery drive after whatever happened to him to cause that reset.
He's on hard tires. He's not really having the best performance. When I compare his hard tires to Nico, that's a second off pace.
A second off pace, but it is a noticeable... what's the word? It is a... There is a decent amount of a tire advantage he does have over Nico. Though, again, you would assume that that's just down to the setup, or not the setup, just the sheer pace that Nico is trying to run that tire at, in an attempt to stay at least remotely close to the AMS drivers in front of him. So the question for Nico at this point will be, once he does get onto the mediums, how much is he going to shred through them? As he gets a little wide through turn 8, he'll have to be careful with that. How much will he have to shred the tires to catch up to the AMS boys? And then, or more accurately, can he catch the AMS boys on the medium tire? Now 15.5 seconds back. Though I suppose that said, we still have just under 50 laps to go.
Yeah, Sanchez absolutely destroyed his tires. 121.2.
Yeah, he's starting to
even closer.
fall off now. Still only 1.2 off of Chung, though. As Philo now into the pits. First, I believe, first driver with making a legitimate stop off of the mediums. As we'll follow him into the pit lane. No damage for him, so he'll be able to make his stop immediately and not have to suffer any of our damage penalties. A quick stop for him as he'll exit back out onto another set of mediums.
Yeah, Chang, Sanchez and Paymay within 3 seconds of each other. Together with Arigada, I would say this would make our battle for the podium at the end.
Boy, what a battle that could shape up to be. If Paymay can continue to catch up to these two. Sanchez, that tire really not looking very good. As we now start lap 17. I'd say probably about 80% worn. Maybe 85. As now he has fallen out of Chung's slipstream range. Still hasn't used any overtake yet, which is a positive, at least compared to Paymay, who's already gone through a quarter of it. And his tire not looking much better on that left front. Though to still be lapping in the low 121s, that is still an impressive pace to have a tire this worn and still be outperforming Nico on the hards. Nico, his best lap time of 21.1, but he's been averaging 21.4s the last 4 laps, as he now gets down to about 50% wear. As Paymay has picked up a half-second penalty somewhere. Unfortunately, must have run wide, I would imagine, onto the back straightaway through turn 9.
Gramenos pitted.
Gramenos has pit.
And set the fastest lap on the softs.
Ooh, very wide through turn 8. Yes, turn 8 again. as he is rapidly closing in on Philo. As long as he doesn't pick up a penalty from running wide, I would imagine he could get him down the front straightaway here at the rate he is catching.
Correct. They're now in the Sabadell corner. Nice
as
exit
Grove
by
makes his
Gramenos.
first pit stop from the 9th place position.
Yeah, I think Gramenos is a bit too far back at the moment. Maybe this
Yeah.
lap, if he manages to catch.
Earliest next possible chance will likely be down into the turn 10 hairpin, but more realistically, it'll probably come next time by. Oh, he was actually slower than Philo that lap.
Yeah, but there was a lot of uncertainties there, like he went wide, then a little bit of twitching there in the exit of 7 and 8.
That is a fair point. As we will jump back up to 5th place as Sanchez makes a pit. And Payme follows him in.
Yeah.
So we will ride on board with Arigata as he comes out of the final corner. Should jump both Sanchez and Payme and does so. We will see where they rejoin in comparison to the field. Ivan has gotten around them both for 4th place on track.
I believe that only Super S2K will do a 2-stopper in this race.
Interesting.
So he's on the mediums. He can make them last for another 5 laps, which would be to lap 24, maybe 6 to 25. We see that from Arigata that you can make hards last 30 laps, which means that Super S2K maybe he can get them to 35. Combined, that's like 50, 51, and then it's a matter of can you make 10, 11 laps on the softs to end it up. 13 actually. So it's a little bit of a stretch, but maybe, just maybe, he's able to pull it off.
It would be very tight for AMS Super S2K. His teammate, Ryan has got much worse tire wear going on. So, assuming that they are sharing a setup, I suppose it is just a matter of Super S2K living up to the name of Tire Whisperer.
Yeah, both Sanchez and Payme using another set of mediums, so they will definitely do another couple of stops.
So at least another 2 stops for them before the end of this, likely to another set of mediums following, and then over to a set of softs, I would imagine.
Correct, yeah, you can do this 3 times medium and then at the end softs. We'll see.
So, with that in mind, and with Arigata still dropping time, although now only 17 seconds back, Super S2K previous laps actually back into the 1 minute 20s. So he saw his pace. Teammate now, Ryan, does come into the pits. So let's see what he pulls out of his hat for a strategy here. 20 laps into this.
Arigata still losing compared to Super S2K. By this time, those hards should have been faster than the mediums, but we see that's not the case.
As Ivan comes into the pits as well, and Ryan is out on the hards.
On the hards, yeah.
So, out on the hards. Realistically, we'll need to... Oh, as Sanchez actually comes out right behind him. The undercut has worked to his favor.
It was, an undercut. Both Payme and Sanchez did a good job in the opening lap.
All over the back, little bit of overtake, looks to the inside, tries the move, gets into the grass going into turn 4. Ryan holds on to it despite the cold tires on the exit of the pit lane, and that's brought Payme right back into this battle. Very close between these 3 now. As we'll go ahead and right on board with Sanchez as they come out of turn 8, rocketing their way through turn 9. Little lift just to keep it on
Sanchez
within
going
track
wide.
limits.
Will
Still
this be a
wide,
penalty?
looks to the inside, tries it up the inside. Ryan left him the room. They're still side by side coming up through 12.
Ryan using a bit
And
of
Payme now
overtake.
out to his inside.
Yeah, great battle. Both Payme and Sanchez are having an advantage now compared to Chang.
Yes, they are on the softer tire. Sanchez back on the overtake for a brief moment. Does he look to the inside? Ryan defends. He'll have to swing it around the outside if he wants to try it or set him up on the exit. Ryan a little wide. Sanchez looking to the outside through 3. Nothing quite happening through there. It's just, I don't think it's possible to make a move around that outside work.
No, absolutely not. I don't know really why Sanchez didn't go for a move. He was close enough. Chang defending at that point would be just a reactive move, and it would be considered a block. So, yeah, I think Sanchez was not aggressive enough in this situation. With the tire advantage, he should have been. Super S2K pits.
Super S2K, our leader, into the pit lane. We will stay on board with this battle for now. We would expect Arigata will stay out here, being on the hard compound tire. Oh, as Payme had a snap of oversteer through turn 11. He's going to lose a whole heap of time. As he'll drop outside of the slipstream to Sanchez and Ryan. Hopefully, if they start battling, he'll be able to get back into it. As there's a yellow flag out. Why is there a yellow?
There's
a car
parked.
stopped somewhere. I'm
Grove
trying
Street.
to see. Grove has parked up on the side of the road. I'm not entirely sure why. I do know
issue?
he's streaming at the moment. So lap 21. Ivan, if you're watching back in post and want to go try to grab a clip from his stream, lap 21 or 20 for him, I guess, now that he's a lap down. Moving on. Arigata leading by 6 and a bit seconds, but that gap rapidly coming down. Super S2K out on the hards. Chung and Sanchez still battling away here for the final spot on the podium for now. This will end up becoming P2 once Arigata does make his stop. This battle happening only less than 14 seconds behind him. So he will drop behind this battle.
Yeah, Super S2K was leading by how much? About 18, 19 seconds, right? In front
I
of
believe
Arigata?
he had 18 over Arigata.
18,
But
so
19
now-
Sanchez picks up a penalty! Runs it wide out of the final corner, just too eager with the throttle. Didn't quite lift off enough. He will have to serve that penalty. And that could give Payme the opportunity he's looking for. Get back
Definitely.
around. But he can't be running that wide through turn 3. Getting all up in the marbles.
Just wanted to comment on Arigata. He's now P1. Super S2K came out about 7 seconds behind, 6.6. Arigata, if he pits when he pits, of course, he will take 26 seconds to make a pit stop, and he will exit the pits P6, just behind Philo.
Philo is 23 seconds off the lead. So would he jump
He would
Arigata?
overtake. Yes. Then Arigata would need to make a move on Philo.
Oh, wait, yes, because that would be P6. Yes, okay. My math is incorrect. As Payme, I've completely forgot about the penalty. I shouldn't have jumped back to Philo. Sanchez able to hold off Payme after the penalty.
This
Though,
is
that
all
said,
playing very nicely for Chang.
It is. He's going to have a chance to get away here. Payme 6 or 5.5 tenths back as they come down toward turn 1. That tailwind just not able to make the head roads that he realistically would want. Okay. Thank you very much for that info. Grove parked up on the side of the track just to let everybody through after he exited the pits. So, very extreme blue flags he gave himself there. So we thank you for not holding up the rest of the pack, though. Apologies that it came at your own detriment. As Sanchez now starting to pull back away a little bit from Payme. And you would imagine, whether it be just outright pace advantage or perhaps the hard compound tire is starting to become a bit better for him. Ryan is now pulling away slightly over Sanchez and Payme. That gap holding at about 1 second, coming down by a couple hundredths through this final sector. Sanchez closing in there, so those medium tires still working for him for now. 0.8 the gap, closing rapidly as they come down toward turn 1. We'll get to about 7 as they slam on the brakes, but not close enough to think about making something happen just yet. As we will look up back toward the front, Arigata. Under 5 seconds now, Super S2K. Closing in. Should be 4.5 seconds by the end of this lap. Arigata having yet to make a pit stop. You would imagine he could potentially squeeze out 30 laps on these tires.
Definitely.
So certainly he will be hurting as he has a big snap of oversteer through turn 11. Very interesting. The car must be set up for that, as Gramino sets the fastest lap of the race of 1:19.4. He must have his car set up for oversteer, because with how much more worn out his left front is compared to his rear tires, you would expect this thing to be naturally understeery more than anything. Though I guess the adage of loose is fast coming into effect more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, these drivers are all on the level where they can control a twitchy and oversteery car. It can be very hard for the rest of the drivers to drive on those setups, but it seems to be making them really fast.
As you can see, our two leaders in the camera shot there. Arigata rounding turn 9, charging his way down the back straightaway toward the hairpin, and that is Super S2K right behind him. Slamming onto the brakes late into the turn 10 hairpin. Climbing his way up the hill through 11 and 12, and now will descend the hill flat out the rest of the way through this lap as he closes in to just about 4 seconds behind Arigata. A dominant drive once again by AMS Super 2K as we see Chung and Sanchez dueling it out in the background. Sanchez has been closing in over the past couple of laps. 3-4 tenths now the gap, making their way through turn 1, 2, and 3. Sanchez perhaps looking to make a move, or perhaps he's just content to sit in line, use the slipstream to save a bit of fuel, save a bit of tire wear. Payme, unfortunately, picking up yet another track limits penalty. He'll have to serve that again, and he will drop to probably about 2.5 seconds back once he is able to get back up to speed. Looking further back on down the grid, Philo currently running in the 6th position out on his own. Same can be said for Lester, 11 seconds front and rear behind him. Ivan currently running at a fairly decent P8 position for him. decent day going for him. Setting up. Supa, I apologize, that's the wrong button. Supa currently running in 9th, Gramenos running in the 10th position. As Roach, not the day he was looking for, unfortunately, just a few too many errors. As pitted this previous lap, currently on an out lap, running wide through turn 12. He is a minute behind the next car and 2 minutes behind the leader. And then Grove, who had parked up on the side of the road for a few moments, now back circulating once again in the 12th position. Super S2K has made a mistake somewhere. He dropped 6 seconds on that previous lap. I've just noticed. Gap to the lead now back up to 8 seconds. And only 2.5 back to his teammate. What the heck happened?
Yeah, we didn't pick that up, unfortunately. 126.2, that was a big mistake.
That is a good question.
Sanchez is only 3/10 down. Sanchez is now charging for an overtake into turn 1. This might be the time. He's battling dirty
5
air.
5/10 on the exit of the final corner. If he used, he's not using overtake. I don't think he's trying it this lap. I really think he's just content running in that. Paymay's picked up yet another half-second penalty.
He needs to. Paymay's catching them all.
Paymay, they're penalties, not Pokemon. Hopefully we don't get copyright sued for that. I don't imagine we would. Gap slowly back grown again. AMS Super 2K, after the incident, whatever it was, that happened on lap 28, regaining lost ground, it must be said. Arigata still running on those tires. It is lap 30, so we would imagine he'll be in anytime soon. Has gone from running in the low 121s to now the upper to mid 121s. Stays out again. So perhaps he's also looking to get to about lap 35. Oh, and he picks up a half-second penalty himself. Tire wear kicking in, got too ambitious through the final corner. And he'll have to serve that penalty. That's not going to help his chances if he wants a decent finish here. He's going to get undercut by a lot of drivers. He's very lucky. Lester still, what did we say the pit delta was? 26 seconds?
25, 26, yeah.
Yeah, so he's about 5 seconds away from losing 6th to Lester. Though Lester, I'd imagine, will, by the time he gets within that range, will likely have to pit again. I did see a question in the chat. What tire compound was Supa running? Supa is currently on the hards he is on the hard compound tire. I believe that question came from Ivan. So he is running the same compound as you. Probably looks to be about equal tire wear between the two of you as well. I also just realized I'm giving a slight knowledge advantage to Ivan. Probably shouldn't have been doing that. I am a commentator, not a race engineer.
Yeah. Just a message great for Ivan as well. Just typing and driving is at least 200 euros, at least in Croatia. So I don't know what
no
is it
texting and driving,
in
Ivan.
Russia. Yeah.
As Arigata finally into the pits. Lap 31. So he did only manage 30 laps on those tires. Well, 31 laps technically, but into the pits now, finally realizing that he's just not gaining any time at this point. Out on the mediums. So first of his 2 mandatory tires now fitted to the car will come out. Like I said, 5 seconds, or 4.5 now ahead of Lester.
Correct.
But 19 off the leader.
19 of the leader. This means that technically he didn't lose much. Actually, Super S2K helped him. And yeah, it's still 18, 19 seconds. Otherwise, it would be around 25, the difference right now. Quite nice
Well,
for Arigata.
Yes, though that said, a lot of that would have been helped by the fact Super S2K had that off somewhere, that 6-second time loss. So realistically, with that in mind, Arigata, who is 19 back, should be 25 back.
Yeah.
If not for that off track by Super S2K, he would have been on the gearbox by the time Arigata pit. So
Super
now with
S2K,
the tire advantage, Arigata should hopefully start closing back in.
yeah.
This is where he needs to make his charge.
Super S2K pitted at lap 23, which now Arigata needs to match. So
Yes.
if he wants to do two stops only, he definitely needs to make these tires last for 22, 23 laps. Maybe he will be able to do even more. Yeah.
Realistically, he needs to go longer because
the car is lighter.
It is lighter, which should hopefully give him an advantage of sorts. Maybe he can get 25 laps out of those tires instead.
So Sanchez, Payme, and Philo, all three of them, they have issues with their tires, and even though they pitted once already, they're on the same strategy from now onwards as Arigata, which puts Arigata in the better position. So he will be instantly promoted to P3.
Well, that's assuming that he's able to make that two-stop work.
True.
Which, realistically, I think he would have needed to go probably another 5 laps on the hard tire to make that work. So, because it would have been 35 plus the 25-ish, right? 35 plus 25, that is 60. Oh, wait, that is 60. Hang on.
Yeah. Maybe he will go for 2 softs at the end. Could be.
I mean, he could, but that's just...
Yeah, that's like wasting 25 seconds.
Yeah, that's 25 seconds, and
It's
you're
not worth it.
It doesn't matter how much of a tire advantage softs give you, that's not happening.
Yeah, Sanchez going wide now. No penalty for him. Interesting. He was with all 4 wheels on the green.
Of Chung, sort of, kinda. 8 tenths back now. Those tires really falling off compared to the hards, which are still pretty good on the Super S2K car. Or no, sorry, I was looking at the wrong guy. Though it doesn't really matter. Chung's tires also looking decent. Payme into the pits. Off the medium.
Payme is 4.5 seconds off Sanchez. If he would have been a bit closer, maybe this undercut would have worked. Maybe it still will work, but we'll see. Sanchez is now in a good position. I believe Saya, but Chung is on hards. This is never going to work.
Payme out on another set of mediums. That is his 3rd stop of the day?
Yeah. Sanchez will now need to respond to Payme. So if he stays out for another 2 laps, he's basically risking that Payme overtakes him. We see how difficult it is to overtake on track because of the dirty air in the last sector.
Although we talked about it earlier in the broadcast, how the wind can shift. It has done so. It is no longer a tailwind. It's a bit more of a crosswind now. So a little more grip now through the final corner for these drivers, as it's basically a headwind into the final corner. Should help these drivers carry a little more speed through the final corner. As Philo now into the pits.
Yeah.
And yeah, he really took that left front down to the cords. As Scorpio, or Lester, excuse me, also into the pits.
So the difference between Payme and Sanchez is now 1 second. If Sanchez pits.
Fellow exits the pits on another set of mediums. Lester will... Well, we'll find out in just a moment. And he has done the same, also on another set of mediums. 44% fuel remaining. And we are just past halfway, so he does have some fuel saving to do. Does Lester. As we'll jump back up with Arigata, currently running in the low 120s on the hards. Which I believe
the mediums.
is... Oh, yes, he is on the mediums. My apologies.
On the mediums, 15 seconds behind Super S2K, so he did manage to shave off 4 seconds since the pits.
Now, low 120s, I believe that he is running faster than Super S2K was on the same tire, but of course he is running with much less fuel.
Yeah, he's a second a lap faster at the moment than Super S2K, which was the case vice versa as well when Super S2K was running a medium and Arigata hard, so literally it's a matching pace from these two.
Perhaps it's not over yet for Arigata, our championship leader by 1 point over Super S2K.
We
the two Titans taking swings at each other with the tire strategy. But once again, you would imagine Super S2K will have the tire advantage toward the end. Not necessarily by compounds, but certainly by just being able to pit later than Arigata.
Sanchez should pit this lap.
As Arigata picks up a half-second penalty. He has picked up a half-second penalty, I believe, on the exit of the turn 10 hairpins. Sanchez, like you said, into the pits.
Sanchez will most likely
not helping
lose the
his case.
I'm following Paymay. Let's see where Paymay will be after Sanchez pits.
Making his way through the final couple of corners. Was completely flat through the final corner. Managed to hold on to it.
Sanchez exiting and Paymay going through.
Oh, this will be close here, folks. As we'll ride on board with Paymay, trying to sweep it round the outside, and does. Oh, Sanchez had a huge snap of oversteer.
Yeah, cold
held
tires,
on
cold
to
tires, dirty air. But good job by Sanchez. I mean, he pitted a lap late. It will give him maybe a little bit of advantage towards the end of the stint. If he could bring those tires up to temperature now, find pace immediately, now would be a good time to overtake Paymay.
It would be a good time, but you also don't want to spike those tires too early. They do need to go a bit of a ways into this race. This was their second stop. Realistically, they want to take these tires now to a point where they can pit onto the softs.
As well, Paymay having a bit less fuel than Sanchez. This will play into Sanchez's favor towards the end of the race.
Absolutely. Tire and fuel advantage. He won't need to save as much, at least in terms of fuel.
Yeah. Nico with a penalty doing 120.6. Not the best lap from him, of course, with a penalty, but still, that's an incredible pace. He's doing 120s. Only 13 seconds behind Super S2K.
120.6 that previous lap to a 120.9 by Super S2K. Only 0.2 off his personal best time this so far on this lap, so he is responding. Has actually started to use the overtake button. Nico hasn't yet. All the drivers slowly starting to ramp up the pace here. As another 120.9 lap for Super S2K. Starting lap 40, 24 laps to go here in Barcelona. Currently with a 5.5 second lead over his teammate Ryan, who is a further 7.5 seconds up the road from Nico. A very interesting tire strategy battle shaping up here today. Nico continuing to slowly close the gap to the AMS drivers. Didn't quite have the pace in qualifying, but certainly his race pace is once again making up for it. Or at least he would hope. Still yet to use any of his overtake, so he does have that advantage going for him as they come down toward the end of this. Currently on shape for the moment for probably a 120.3, though as his tires continue to wear, it will probably be another 120.4. Clears it through the final corner. That is Grove between himself and Ryan in the second place position. Gap now 6.3. He was a second faster than Ryan on that lap.
Gramenos is super driving consistently, a bit better than usually. We see now Gramenos being a couple of seconds of his best lap, but the difference between the two of them is constantly 4 seconds. And I'm following Gramenos because he's very interesting to me. He usually qualifies really nicely, but then something happens. Like he's fast on occasionally on a couple of laps, but then either focus goes away from him, and then he just starts making mistakes.
But he always does seem to manage to pick up the fastest lap points, I will say.
True, he's fast, but
certainly
he
has
cannot
the one
keep
lap
it on the
pace.
same level.
Yeah. Just, unfortunately, not quite as consistent as our front runners with it. Though, again, like you say, a very impressive pace that should be celebrated. As he exits the pits onto yet another set of hard compound tires, I believe he's run already the softs and the mediums, so he should be good to the end as he exits right in front of Ryan, our second place driver. He does get out of the way.
Nice job.
And a good showing from him.
He will go till the end, correct.
As now that puts 2 cars between Ryan and Arigata.
Supa and Scorpio will need to pit. They were quite close
which
to
Scorpio?
Gramenos. Ivan.
Okay. Oh, good. We just have a couple names now with Scorpio in the name. Once again, Lester with that
1.5.
big signing over the during the off weeks. Actually, a fairly recent signing for him as well. So making moves in the esports community is the Scorpio team. And once again, we couldn't be more excited to see what they have in store for the future. As Ivan, once again, showing promising pace, as I believe he might be closing in on Lester. Or, I don't know, actually. Lester looks like he pitted very recently. Lester actually with a bit of a tire advantage over Philo at the moment. Philo 33 seconds off the lead. And Sanchez and Payme 26 off the lead for the time being. Though they are closing in, so... Well, I'd say if Super S2K wanted to come in and not have to deal with lap traffic, he could technically do so now and would come out right in front of these two. But obviously that wouldn't work for his tire strategy, as he does still have the soft compound to use, and they will not last to the end from here.
Yeah, 20 laps to go. Arigada goes wide.
Oh, Chung also just ran wide as well. Is he going to pick up a penalty? That was all four on the AstroTurf. No, he'll get away with it.
I always get a penalty. It's not like this. I don't know. These guys know something I don't know.
They know just how much they can use and get away with it.
Yeah.
Arigada under 4 seconds now to second place.
And within 10 seconds of the leader.
This isn't over yet.
Still lapping a second, approximately a second, a lap
I'm
faster
not
than
entirely
Super
sold that he would be able to go up and challenge for the lead, but he can certainly get up there and challenge for a second. I think if Ryan can manage enough pace, I think he can potentially hold off Nico for just long enough for him to really fall out of contention. As now you saw Ryan go through that shot just now. Nico again very wide through turn 8, though again just using all the track width to his advantage. As long as he doesn't get another penalty, he should be fine. Just closed in on by about 2/10 of this lap, though, with lap traffic now starting to get in the way. He will start to feel the dirty air, so blue flags will need to be shown to these drivers. Gap under 3 seconds now, so he is still closing, but perhaps not quite at the rate he would have wanted. Grove will pull down to the inside pit wall to let Nico through finally. Gap 3.2, so he would have lost a few tenths going through the final corner so close to Grove.
Graman is driving between them. He's already been shown blue flags.
Once again, as long as he doesn't hold up the lead lap cars for over a second, he won't pick up a penalty, but he does need to be careful about that. I think Grove was already cutting it close with how much speed Arigada was closing in by. Charging down into the turn 10 hairpin once more. 2.3 the gap now. Ideally, Gramanos will need to get out of the way here on the straightaway, you would think.
Arigada's mediums are holding up quite nicely.
Yeah,
but maybe
they are worn about the same
them a
amount. Yeah, he's definitely used them up. They're about the same percentage as Chung's hard compound tires. So the crossover in pace slowly getting closer as the tires begin to even out. Medium's still working for Arigada for now, but Gramanos does need to start thinking about getting out of the way. Two seconds the gap. And realistically, the gap behind Gramanos himself probably only a couple tenths now, so I'm not entirely sure why he's not jumped out of the way yet.
True. As
he will be holding him up now. And now he does. Clears the way through turn 11. As Arigada now 1.6 back as they round the final corner. Blips the throttle through the corner, trying to carry as much momentum as possible. Dirty air not allowing him to get as good of a run, but he does have a slight overtake advantage with the amount of extra power he has at his disposal.
And he has slightly more fuel.
That is true as well. It's a marginal amount of fuel. It's actually he and Super S2K actually have about the same amount of fuel remaining. Excuse me. 1.1 the gap. He took a couple tenths out of him through turn 8. And again through turn 9, Chung's tires potentially going off or just not quite running the perfect line. Under a second now. Arigata, if you're going to start using your overtake, I'd consider doing it now. This might be your best chance to use the momentum you have to get around Chung as soon as possible. 8 tenths the gap. Not on the overtake just yet. Gap growing to about 9.5 tenths. Chung, with the clean air, had a much better run through those final 2 corners. And only 6.5 seconds separating our top 3, both in our race and the top 3 in the championship. At the
15
moment,
laps to go.
Yeah. At the moment, Super S2K would assume the title lead. And I believe, because of the way drop rounds would fall out, Chung would actually, if he doesn't jump Arigata in the standings, he would certainly close in at this point.
Chung had a little bit of issues in La Casha corner. Now going through Sabadell.
6 tenths.
A little bit twitchy. A little bit twitchy for Arigata, but he manages to hold it. 6 tenths, 7 tenths. Yeah, dirty air is really big. 8 tenths at the moment.
Dirty air really hindering him through that final corner.
Chung was about 4 kilometers an hour faster than Arigata. 284 for Chung, 280 for Arigata. Arigata will have a tough time overtaking Chung, even if he manages to stay very close.
Yeah, not much of a tire advantage anymore. Those medium tires have seen their best. At this point, both of these drivers realistically now just trying to run to a point where they can make a pit stop and go on to the softs for their final stop. The question is, who will be the first to pull the trigger? Obviously, the undercut would net you track position at this point in time, but you go too early, you risk not being able to make it to the end without falling off a cliff. 3 tenths. Arigata running a wider line, trying to keep clean air on the nose. Big snap of oversteer on exit, though. That's not going to help him. What should have been a better run for him out of turn 12.
It is a better run, but is it enough?
He's
it's
closer.
Still 6 tenths almost.
He is closer. Chung on the overtake to defend, briefly.
He's losing a second a lap, staying behind Chung.
Yeah, he was closing in. He got within 6 seconds, or 6.5 seconds to AMS Super 2K. Now, he's stalled out behind him. And this is what I was talking about earlier. If he wanted to challenge for the win, he really needed to get past this other AMS driver first. Chung, serving as the ultimate back gunner.
Yeah, the most frustrating thing here for Nico is being unable to undercut because it's too early.
Yep. He has to make these tires last to a point where he can go onto the softs. So, does the window open in about 3 or 4 laps time? Can they make softs go 10 laps? We saw earlier.
And a touch here, a contact.
Nearly contact, it looked like. I think there was just enough of a space. 1/10 the gap, but he's going to have all the dirty air through this final corner.
Bad exit.
Yeah, he just all that dirty air. He was right under the rear wing. There was no air on the nose. Still hasn't used any overtake though.
It has been a trend from him in the past races as well. It always comes down to the last couple of laps.
Always loves to save it till right at the very end where he can just burn it on the straights. And it has worked out for him because he has made passes doing it. But today, if he really wanted to challenge for the win, I think he needed to get around Chung sooner. He needed to get around him while he still had a much better tire advantage with, again, another big snap of oversteer through 8. 7.5 tenths the gap. Working lap 51, about to start lap 52 here as AMS Super S2K rounds the final corner to start lap 52, and Arigata is into the pits. He has pulled the trigger for what he hopes will be his final stop. He has to go onto the soft compound tire here to satisfy the requirement. Can he make those tires last for 12 to 13 laps?
Oh, that would be a challenge.
He made mediums go. He's made mediums go about 20-25 laps or so each stint. So the math says you can. But in practice, he needs to make sure he does not burn the absolute daylights out of that tire.
I believe he pitted lap 32, so it will be exactly 20 laps that he did on the mediums. I would expect him to burn now a little bit of overtake.
I would have wanted to go a few more than that, even if I'm stuck behind Ryan for an extra couple of laps. It's still better than realistically needing to save quite a bit of tire at the end here. He's starting to use his overtake. He cannot afford to get a penalty here. He will be trying desperately to get the undercut. Chung is in. He is responding. We will stay on board with Nico as he comes through this final sector.
Pits. Sanchez going for another one.
Sanchez stays out. Chung Piming in as a response.
Philo is still going as well.
Blip the throttle. He didn't take the final corner flat out. Will that hurt him?
He's through.
He is through. The undercut has worked for now. Can Ryan get him back?
Now it will be tricky for Ryan to save his tires behind Nico in the dirty air. So actually, I think despite undercutting and he's on a lap older tires, Nico, he's in a better position. We see that dirty air is big here and it's very hard to follow, and it will be very challenging for Chung to save his tires.
That is true. Realistically, what Chung would need to do here, he needs to accept the fact that he's lost the position, he's lost track position. Now he needs to stay out, conserve his tires now, so that way later in this run, probably about lap 59, lap 60, that's when he needs to make his charge.
And Arigata has a bit more fuel, I would say 2-3 liters of fuel more. It will be difficult for Chung to cope
Sanchez
with that.
into the pits.
Philo is still going.
Philo stays out once more. That leaves AMS Super S2K and Philo, the last two remaining drivers still out on circuit, yet to make their final stop. Both of them still need to pit onto a set of softs. Arigata, fastest lap of 1:18.07. AMS ran a 21.8. That's 3 seconds faster? 4? Almost?
Yeah, Nico just overtook actually Super S2K. If Super S2K pits now, he will end up behind Nico.
The undercut has worked coming onto the softs. Oh, but he's wide again through turn 8.
He was very wide this time.
Yeah.
Still making it work somehow.
I'm shocked he hasn't picked up a time penalty. AMS Super 2K into the pits now.
It's not even a battle at the moment. We know that Super S2K will end up behind Arigata. Will he end up behind Chang as well? That's the question.
Gap is about 3 seconds between Arigata and Chung.
Yeah, Nico rolled the dice here, but at the moment it is playing into his favor. Even though Super S2K is just exiting.
Super S2K is out.
Overtake? No.
Chung, no, he is too far back. Top 3 out of the pits now. This is it to the end. Under 10 to go here. AMS Super 2K 2.5 seconds back, but with I believe 2 or 3 laps fresher tires. Then Nico.
Yeah, it was 3 laps.
3 laps fresher tires. Can he catch? He's already taken a couple tenths out of him just in the first sector alone this lap. A time penalty now for any of them would be detrimental. 2 seconds.
Okay, burned a lot of overtake. He's trying to get in the slipstream as fast as possible.
He's got about 1/4% less. Or 25% less is what I mean by that, not 0.25%.
Arigata has clean air. This is really valuable for him at the moment.
He is also on the overtake trying to burn. Not AMS Super 2K, not yet. That said, he's still closed in despite Arigata on the overtake. 1.6 the gap. We know he has the outright pace advantage. He qualified on pole.
He's a lot faster in the straight, almost 5 kilometers an hour.
And he wasn't even in slipstream yet. That is pure setup.
Yeah.
1.4 the gap. He's right on the edge of getting in the slipstream. We believe it's about 1.2 seconds. Obviously, the disadvantage, like we've been saying at that point, is he will be dealing with dirty air, which will hurt his tires more. 1.3 the gap now as they enter the hairpin. Not setting purple sectors just yet, but is slowly gaining on Arigata. Had a much better run through turn 12. 1.2 the gap. He's in slipstream. It won't be very strong just yet, but he's there. 1 second. He had a much better exit through the final corner. Nico must have had to lift. He's gained 4 tenths in just the final corner alone. This race has heated up once again. And once more, it will be the two Titans who have gone back and forth in this championship so far, going at it again.
Yeah.
Nico looking to extend his 1 point advantage in the championship. AMS Super 2K looking to make sure he reclaims it.
It'll be interesting to see now, can Super S2K hold it in the dirty air? Oh, Nico going very wide. No penalty again.
No penalty, but the gap under 7 tenths. He gets back on the overtake, trying to defend. That will re-extend the gap back over 7 tenths. Dirty air allowing Nico to try to run away a little bit. Both drivers not really clipping in apex through 12, trying to run a wider line, maintain momentum. Super S2K once again, he's just so much better through that final corner. Nico can't get on the throttle. 4 tenths. Looks to the inside, fakes it, trying to make Nico look in the mirrors. As we hop on board with him for this battle, half a second now, all that separates the top two. Both of them slowly running away from Ryan in third. Oh, but look at the tire advantage. Look at the tire advantage. 3 laps, Nico has shredded that left front tire. Already 50% worn. Super S2K barely used it.
Yeah.
He will be in a prime position toward the end of this race. Nico with another snap of oversteer.
We have a battle for P9, Graminos and Supa. I'll be covering that one. So
we will keep the cameras on the battle for the lead. Nico with the half-second penalty. He's played it too eager with track limits. And it's bitten him dearly. 0.6 is the gap. He needs to grow that now if he wants any chance at holding on to this lead. Through this final corner, which has been his Achilles heel every single lap so far this race. Defends it to the inside, trying to break the slipstream. Riding on board with AMS Super 2K as they close in, trying to get within that half second. He can see that Nico has the penalty. He just needs to stay close enough to attack into turn 10. 0.6, that is all that separates it as they come with 4 or 5 laps to go. I'm too busy to do math right now. Under half a second now. The tire advantage playing into Super S2K's hands. He stayed out those extra 3 laps. He can see Nico is about to get slowed down from that penalty. Nico needing to build as much of a gap as he can as he comes into the penalty box, gets slowed down, defends it to the inside. Track position, he held on to just enough of a gap. They are side by side on exit. Super S2K with the move. He has reclaimed the lead through turn 12. Played the undercut brilliantly through the hairpin. Nico, if he wants any shot at this, has to get him back now. Late apex, draining the overtake, trying to get back into the slipstream and close back in, but it's 0.6 the gap. It's growing. It's not enough. AMS Super 2K has played it beautifully. And he will now rocket away into the sunset. He just needs to keep it on the track. Just keep it on the track, hit your marks, and he will have it.
Supa and Graminos, a battle for P9. Graminos holding it through the inside.
As we will watch this battle for P9, Supa looking to the inside at turn 8. Graminos is going to let him have it. Supa's just got so much fresher tire. Oh, Graminos actually came back with the crossover.
Yeah, he's on hards.
He's on hards. They're still side by side here. I'm pressing all the wrong buttons. I apologize. Supa trying to pinch him to the inside. Very argy-bargy battle between these two. Supa with the tire advantage. As actually, that's the leader right behind them. They need to be careful here. They're battling for position. They need to be aware that Super S2K is there. This could play into Nico's hands if they get in the way. Nico has a fuel advantage, though I think AMS Super 2K still has enough in reserve for the time being.
3 laps to go.
3 to go. He should be able to make it.
I don't
Gap
think
under a
Arigada
second, but those guys they're not getting out of the way.
I don't think Arigada
No,
he
doesn't have the tires. He's going to be crawling for these final couple of laps. And this is going to allow Ryan to get right back on him, but his tire is also not looking great. As now Ryan is actually the one with the overtake advantage. All of these drivers feeling the effects of dirty air from the lap cars. Arigada had a horrible run out of turn 9, though. As now we have Roach and... Oh my goodness, we have lap cars trying to unlap themselves now. They have the pace advantage. Everyone is
Yeah.
converged into each other in this final sector here. Two laps to go here in Barcelona. Arigata trying to do everything he can to hold on to that second place position. Chung continuing to close in, only half a second separating them. Super S2K 1 second up the road. They are all right there. Can that tire hang on for Nico?
Top 3 in 1.5 seconds after 62 laps. That's really impressive.
And Lester into the pits very late. I think that might be for emergency fuel. He only has 3% left.
Oof.
We'll watch it on the scoreboard. It might just be a matter of picking up fresh tires, but he is very close on fuel to making it.
He's going... No, he has a free pit stop, and he was going to use it in order to set the fastest lap in the final lap.
With only 3% remaining?
Yeah, they can last.
Okay.
He will fuel
As
save
finally,
this lap and then...
Gramenos gets out of the way. About time.
Chang only 8 tenths down on Arigata.
8 tenths back. Arigata. They're on the final lap. Can that tire hold? Super S2K now running away now that he's finally got clean air again. Roach currently just sitting in behind Chung. He's not really under threat for position. Obviously, all of these drivers needing to be careful with their tires. Arigata, nothing left. There is nothing. He is driving around on the car. Oh, he ran wide again. He was wide again through 8. If he picks up a penalty, that's going to drop him.
He won't. The thing is, Chang has equally bad tires.
He does. Oh, he does.
Dirty air has hurt him.
His AMS Super 2K might have had a bit of a moment through the final couple of corners, but it's not going to matter. All he has to do is just keep it on the gray stuff. Through the final corner, it was a superb drive to get the lead back. AMS Super 2K will win it in Barcelona. Arigata comes home a hard-fought second with absolutely nothing left on that left front tire. You can see just how worn down to the carcass it was. Chung as well, holding on for the podium.
Philo overtaking Sanchez in the last couple of corners for P5 after P11 on the start.
Well done to Philo coming back from that
only
grid
60
penalty.
seconds behind Super S2K. That was nice drive by Philo.
That was a great drive by Philo. A shame that he had that grid penalty. Payme will bring it home. 4th place. Hard-fought battle for him, also with very worn-out tires. Sanchez also, once again, with very worn tires. Lester will round the final corner. Can he steal the fastest lap from Philo?
No.
No. Philo will take the fastest lap of the race.
A 10th.
Unless Ivan can do something about it. I don't think he will. Ivan will round the final corner to finish in 8th. Gramenos, P9, Super P10. We'll wait and see what the stewards have to say regarding their continuous battle in front of the leaders. Practically ignoring blue flags, it must be said. I understand the circumstances, but guys, you can't be affecting the battle for the lead like that. Fortunately, results weren't impacted too much from it. But, oh boy, once again, yet another strategy barnstormer for these drivers. A final overtake for the lead within the last 5 laps of the race, and Super S2K pulls it off to claim the championship lead. Boy, what a battle.
Yeah, I prepared myself a huge bottle of water to drink during this race, but it was so intense. Like, even though at some points there was no overtakes in the first three, but with the undercuts, opposite strategies, everything folded like really, really nicely, and it was really an impressive race again.
Well, don't
That's
go
it.
anywhere just yet, folks. That will do it for the on-track action, but stick around. We will get to post-race interviews, excuse me, momentarily. See which? The overtake or... Yeah, oh yeah, we caught it. We will get to it in interviews, but boys, that tire strategy race was fantastic to watch. Yeah. It was 3 laps. All right. We counted 20 on the stream. It was quite great. I will say it was quite crazy to see all the lap cars, like Roach and everyone, just catching up to the back of you guys. And I know, obviously the ones that didn't let you go were a bit questionable, but it was great to see Roach and all of them just sticking behind you since they weren't under threat for position. All right. We can do this in here if we want. I have also just realized. Yeah, I've also just realized. I don't know if the admins have Dean and Ivan. Our round at Le Mans next time out will coincide and I believe conflict with the IRL Le Mans 24. Yes, both races running on the 14th. Oh, was that the goal? That is a fair point. All right. Are we all set for interviews? Okay. All right. Not sure what stream it gets called off of, but I will give a quick countdown for the edit. And 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, folks. Post-race interviews here after round 6 at Barcelona de Catalunya. A thrilling race between our top 3 once again. Tire strategy, the name of the day. We will start off with our third place finisher, Ryan. Tell us about it from your perspective. Running second most of the day, we saw Nico get the undercut on you with, I believe it was 13 or so laps to go. Did you think that there was something else you might have been able to do to get him back later? Should you have stayed out a couple more laps, try to get the advantage that way, or was it just game over once he got the undercut on you? Yeah. Well, certainly it was very close for both you and Nico at the very end on those tires. And like you said, we did see a very interesting wind change going from, I believe, an 11 feet per second tailwind down into turn 1 into a bit of a crosswind, or almost becoming a headwind into the final corner. Do you think that played a factor into how the cars were driving through the middle part of the lap, or was it just, or was it really the final corner where you were finding pace was being affected the most? All right. Well, thank you very much. A very respectable third place in the on today's race. We'll keep you in third place for the championship positions. We'll move on to Nico, who brought it home in second place. Will retain or will lose first in the championship standings. Only 1 point separating you and Super S2K coming into today's race. Second place finish on the day, still a very solid result. So tell us, what did you think? Did you have any concerns with the soft tires being able to last to the end when you made your final stop, or was it just you have to make the undercut work go now and hope for the best? Well, it was certainly a miracle crossing with what looked like there was nothing left on that tire. Other thing that we noticed up in the booth, looked like you were having a really hard time getting through the final corner when the wind direction changed, even with the headwind, taking blips off the throttle, which at the end of the day looked to be what allowed Super S2K to get the move done on you down the front straightaway. Was it just a setup related thing, or was it just tires starting to fall off at that point? Well, thank you very much. A well-fought second-place position, coming from fourth place on the grid in qualifying. Well done result. Still second in the championship. Still very close battle for the title fight. As we will move to our new championship leader, Super S2K. Pole to the win. I think we had it. We got the same conversion last time out for the first time. So now back-to-back pole to win conversions for you. Yeah, tell us from your perspective. What it looked like you were fairly confident, comfortable up front all day. Did you have any moments that you might have thought it could have gone bad, or? I will say, it certainly looked like a faultless race from you. I'm glad you were able to clarify that. We did notice the drop of the 6 second time loss around that lap 28. So happy to hear that that wasn't the end of your race. Unfortunate for sure. I believe we also heard you discussing a heart rate monitor. Tell us, what other is there any other sort of special equipment that you use just to keep track of your physical health as you compete in these, frankly, very high pressure scenarios? Hmm. Well, a very impressive display overall from all of our drivers here today. Congratulations once again to our top three. And folks at home, next race, June 14th, we will be heading over to the luscious, beautiful Circuit de la Sarthe Le Mans, where we will compete head-to-head with the IRL event. So be sure to tune in for us in a couple of weeks. It should be an absolute barnstormer once again. High speeds, slipstream, all you could ask for out of a circuit, and we can't wait to bring it to you. Once again, I've been TNR Blade, joined by Felix in the booth. Thank you all so much for watching, and tune in next time. Goodbye.